Hey everyone, it's Pufuu here, and for once I am not spreading misinformation, because we actually have a legit Splatoon 3 direct announcement. I'm sure many of you have done a double take making sure that account wasn't me disguising my Twitter profile pic. So, the question is, what will Nintendo showcase in this direct? Well, it ranges from the expected test fire, new stages, weapons, and amiibos, to unanticipated announcements like a new game mode, a trio idol group, and apartments. To cut it short, I'm a certified leaker with a flawless track record, so everything I say is absolutely correct and should never be questioned. Before we do dive into the leaks I prepared for this video, be sure to hit the sub button. Alrighty, let's get to it! Well, first and foremost, roughly 30 minutes in Nintendo terms translates to about 33 minutes. How do I know? I just know. So expect 33 minutes of new Splatoon 3 info to drop. Unlike past Splatoon directs that put a heavy emphasis on features we already knew, Splatoon 3 has already covered all that stuff on Twitter. So that leaves a good chunk of time to cover all things new. This direct will be split up into 13 segments, entailing movement/controls, introduction to the Splatlands, introduction to Splatsville, including shops, character, fashion, and additional features, weapons and gameplay, online battles, ranked, salmon run, return of the mammalians, new game modes, Splatnet 3, amiibos, Splatfest plus idols, and finally, a test fire. Okay, that was a long list, so let's move on to the first segment. That seems like a lot, and it is, but a 33-minute direct should be enough time to condense all this info. So let's start off with some of the more obvious announcements. So here's my prediction for what a new game mode could entail. It's the sort of hook that Nintendo needs to really differentiate S3 from S2 for the casual audience. Now there's been several instances of Nintendo mentioning that our main character is a scrap collector alongside Little Buddy. And given that recent accidental leak from Nintendo Germany confirming a new game mode, it's pretty safe to assume we'll be getting a brief 5-minute overview for whatever this mode will be. If it has to do anything with scrap collecting, then we can expect a PvE like Salmon Run, but more competitive. Let me explain. The main objective of this mode would be traversing hazardous terrain that's either randomly generated or predetermined. I don't know. But this mode would heavily focus on our player's new movement option. Squid rolling and squid surging would be an integral part to reaching the objective, a piece of human relic that sits somewhere on the map. The stages in this mode would be open, non-symmetrical, and much larger in contrast to the stages we see in online battles, similar to the hub worlds and Return of the Mammalians. Pretty sure the main premise would require you to collect various items with varying values, and whichever team has the highest payout wins. It's a mix of platforming and dungeon crawling bundled in a neat Splatoon-y way. Next up, everyone expects a test fire, and generally speaking, test fires are usually 1.5 weeks after their initial announcement. So you could play Splatoon 3 as early as August 19th. Whether this demo happens to be a Splatfest premiere or ordinary test fire is hard to say, but I have a sense it might be both. The entire test fire would span across 3 days starting from August 19th and ending on the 21st. The first 2 days would consist of 6 playtimes spanning 1 hour each. Each of these play sessions would give you access to 4 weapons: the Splattershot, Tri-Stinger, Roller, and Charger. The stages for this test fire will likely be Scorched Gorge and Eeltail Alley for day 1, Museum Delphincino and Undertow Spillway for day 2, and the third and final day, which is when the Splatfest premiere takes place, would include all 4 stages plus Mincemeat Metalworks. So more on the Splatfest premiere. This event would give players access to Splatsville and the Idols performance. The Splatfest theme, something along the lines of Space vs. Sea. This ties into my next prediction, new idols. By far one of the most exciting announcements to come out of this direct would be our first look at who the new idols are. Using evidence I've gathered from various promotional photos, I pinpointed what the idols will look like. In this specific picture, you can spot these 2 awfully strange stickers that feature a diver and an astronaut, one of which was spotted all the way back in the initial trailer reveal of the Switch OLED. Now, it's not uncommon to get posters featuring the idols and stages. In fact, there's a couple of posters of Pearl and Marina and Arowana Mall. Now yes, I could just be looking into this one piece of graphic too deep, but I've seen enough graffiti in my time editing fake leaks that I sense there's something awfully strange about this particular image. For simplicity's sake, I will be naming the idol A as Diver and idol B as Astro. First, the contrast in theming is a common occurrence amongst all Splatoon idols. With Diver and Astro, their contrasts are quite apparent. Sea and space on a surface level, with vintage technology and modern technology on a more in-depth level. For comparison, Off the Hook's emphasis was on the differences between Inklings and Octolings. Further proof of these two being the new idols include the theming of Return of the Mammalians, with aspects of space playing some sort of part in S3 with the whole rocket ship and space-esque objects floating around. It kinda makes sense for the idols to lean into the space versus sea concept with the overall subject the game focuses on. But more ample evidence comes from the fact that Nintendo has been incorporating some of their scrapped ideas and concepts from S2 into S3. Just look at the egg throwing feature that was added into Salmon Run. Now, if you look through Hikara Walker, you'll spot some neat concepts of Pearl and Marina's design, specifically these Daft Punk-inspired outfits. It could be very likely that the devs decided to bring back this initial idea of helmet-based idols. If they did it with throwable eggs in a space-themed story mode, what's exactly stopping them from using this neat idea? Well, that's all the predictions I have so far. I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see if it ends up aging well or not. Oh, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for my reaction when it drops this Wednesday. Until next time, Pufuu, offline.